Good morning, everybody. Alright, so starting off with another live stream today. Today we're going to be doing a review of heads, or head study, and a bit of illustration, and the importance of repetition. Right? And why that is so important as an artist. So figured I'll have some sort of plan in terms of what I'm going to say, instead of just having it just open-ended. So yeah, and this is also just notes to keep me in line too. So okay, so first and foremost, the head and what that entails. So let's switch over to my handy dandy brush and go through like a brief study. So let me lower the music a bit. So we all know a head takes a relatively circle type of shape like this, right? And then everything else comes after, like the square shapes, it comes afterward, like this, either a long shape or some sort of shape that includes straight lines, long and short lines. So it's just kind of like combining them together, right? So you have circle, and don't forget curves as well, right? Right? That's more or less what I would summarize the head as. A series of shapes, just like this, right? So it's important to understand that before you go into the whole like all of this, like the silhouette aspect of it, and trying to get every nook and cranny of the face and everything like that, try to understand shapes more than anything, right? And that's what I demonstrated last year. Let me see if I could pull up some images from last year that I did, some drawings. So yes, so you see, for this one here, right, let me see if I could draw over it, probably in a red. Oh my goodness. Yeah, in a red color so that you could see, right? So it is a circle, right? So there's a circle right over there, right? And then it's just a matter of finding shapes, right? Like square shapes to make up that face, right? So it's a series of combining curves, straight lines, shapes, all of that, right? So when you pull this away, right, there's basically a face. Well, not necessarily a face, but the underlining bits of the face, right? So that's basically what I wanted to showcase here, right? Right? Same thing with this one. There's your circle of the head. See? Let's do this one as well. This one has a curvy line to it. Okay? So, there it is. Shapes. That's all I want you guys to always remember. Always keep that in mind, right? But there's also other ways too. There's also learning and understanding the bone structure. So in this case, the skeleton, right, which is a whole different area. I haven't drawn a skeleton in quite some time. Let me see if I could find a reference. Or at least a skull. I'm trying to pull up some examples here. Oh my goodness. So I'm on Google right now and I'm just looking at some images of the skulls. So I'm looking at this one here and I'm gonna see if I could just briefly imitate, oops, do a drawing on that one quick. again. Hey, Slim Diddy J, welcome back. Don't mind me, I'm attempting this skull here just to showcase another way, or at least an extra way, an extra step on practicing the human head. So I haven't drawn a skeleton in quite some time, but so that's why it looks like this, but it's all good. How are you doing today? Thanks for tuning in. Sorry can't stick around, but keep up the great work. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks so much for stopping by. Hope to see you around soon. See you somewhere. Excuse me. See you somewhere on the internet. Okay, people. So this is another way in studying the human head, skulls. So there's skull and then there's shapes, right? So obviously I prefer the shapes way, but don't get me wrong, knowing the anatomy of the human head is just as important. And I did all of this studying in school, and unless you're doing portrait study, like portrait illustrations for commissions, and you're aiming for like a realistic type of look for your drawings, then yes, I would suggest learning the anatomy of the human head. But if you're going for something more stylized, I would say go for the shapes route. So for those of you who are just coming in, I was showcasing some studies that I did last year in one of my live streams. So I did all of this in my live stream, in a live stream last year. I can't remember which number it is, but yeah, I was just showcasing. I drew over all of these drawings that I did, shapes, and blocking out those simple shapes to get the basic head formation before adding in any of those details. Okay, so I was simply just saying that another way to study the human head is by learning the anatomy, right? So learning the anatomy of the human head pays off, and it really does give you that understanding of where the jaw should be, cheekbones, and the eyes, right? Or the eye sockets, in relative to where the nose is, where the mouth should be, and things like that, right? I've done all of these studies in school. It's just I'm a bit out of touch, so I'll probably do some more skull studies another time. I guess when I feel like it, but I think that as of right now, I think I'm just going to continue going with the shapes, and yeah, continuing on from there. This is another one that I did last year. Again, using shapes to get the overall formation of the head, and utilizing my observational skills, which is something that is very, very important. So there's that one, there's this one. Oh yeah, so this is another one that I did too last year. I was using I wasn't using the Loomis method, I was using the other method. What's it called again? Oh my goodness. So many methods. Let me see if I could jog my memory. Yeah, the Riley method. That's what it's called. Don't know why it took me so long to remember that, but yeah, so this is me attempting to utilize the Riley method. More steps, but I guess it helps, right? So the Riley method, it looks more like a skull. So it looks similar to the skull, whereas the Loomis method just takes the generic head shape. With the Loomis method, you have to draw in more lines, more connecting the lines to form to tell you where everything should be, right? Did I do some more of these, or because I had some others? Okay, so this one is more of the Loomis method, but you could see the clear difference in terms of the Riley method versus the Loomis method. The Loomis method is simpler, so it takes in more of it's the easiest one to learn and adapt, whereas the Riley method, it takes more of an intermediate type of understanding. So yeah, I was just trying that out and trying to combine both of them and see which one works. Has been interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah, so there's some others that I did. All of these I did in a live stream last year. It is called, if you go to my live stream page, you will see Drawing Practice 36, Riley method. Yep. So you could always go back and see how I did all of these drawings here. Okay, and then with that, oh yeah, so before that I was doing a lot of side profiles, right? So I was doing a lot of, so let me see if I could scroll down to where it all started from. My goodness, I'll do that. Yeah, there's a lot of layers, but I just want the base so that you could see. I'll just take off all of these layers here, probably the background too. So much goes into, yeah, so this is my base right here for this drawing. So you could see that I started off with more of a square shape this time instead of the regular circle, and just went along from there, trying to really learn and understand the shape of this person's face, and took creative liberties, and yeah. So that's how I get all these other ones. That's how I got this one. I guess Krita doesn't work like that. Does anyone here use Krita, or do all of you go for the standard Photoshop, Clip Studio Paint kind of thing? Right, so I did not record this one though. That's the only thing. This one, I think I did a TikTok video of this, but I did not record the entire process for this one, which is fine. Still proud of how it looks. I could see some some areas that needs fixing, but it's done. That was the level of my skill last year, so moving on. So this one was the first one that I did last year when I first started my side profile study. Again, a lot of layers for this one, but it's actually not that bad, compared to how many layers that I used to use back when I was in school. So let me see if I could find I have the original base because I know for sure that I used that one, or at least I wanted to post that one just to showcase where I started from. So yeah, so instead of trying to find it for you, so there it is. So there's my base, right? So again, you could see some areas where some of the lines that I used as a marker for the face, where the eyes should be and things like that. So but yeah, I already knew that I wanted this to be more of an illustration practice, so that's why I kind of just went very light on the lines. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out Clip Studio Paint and Fresco at the moment, but I haven't really settled yet. Yeah, pick one and go with it, right? There's already enough programs out there to confuse an entire nation about which one is the best one. As an artist, pick the one that best suits you and your style and what you want to achieve, and just stick with that, right? I don't go around trying to use multiple drawing platforms unless I have to, right? So like I have to use Photoshop for my job, my clients and everything like that. I have to use Adobe products, but for the most part, for personal projects, for projects that I do for teaching and everything like that, Krita, and that's it. That's what I stick to. So don't confuse yourself trying to learn multiple ones. It's a lot. So this one was the final head study that I did last year, and already I put these two together because I wanted you guys to see how much I improved in terms of the level of detailing, right? So if you look carefully to like the crown of her head right here, where the hair meets her neck, it's very blurry, very unfinished, I should say. Same thing with the top of her hair versus the last one I did, right? It's definitely more defined, and I have a bit more of an understanding as to what I'm doing regarding the hair. And same thing with the head as well. It's much better than the first time around. So I just wanted to show you guys. So back to head, right? So what we're gonna do right now is just do a series of head studies similar to what I did here, right? And then we're gonna quickly move on to doing sort of a illustration study using a reference, of course, and try to discuss how repetition don't want to go off track. So repetition and how that plays a huge role in the overall execution of your work in the long run, right? So let's go head studies. So if you guys don't already know, I still use Pinterest for my references. I'm gonna put the link to my Pinterest account on here so that you guys could see what I'm using. So I have a series of references that I am using, and they're all from that page, that link that I sent. These are all just heads that I found interesting, heads that I think that I could pull off. But yes, so let us start off with the first one. And I think, let's see. Let me see if I could pull this aside to show you. Okay, so this one is the first one that I'm going to be doing. So if you see in my Pinterest page, profile, whatever it's called, that image is there. So that is the one that I am using. So I used to put all the images in layers here, but I can't be bothered to do that at the moment. So yes, so that's the image that I'm using. And let's see if I can make this smaller. Okay, let's get my pen out and let us get started. One second. I'm trying to figure out how to make things. Okay. Okay, so for this first one, she has an interesting shape. I personally like how her ears poke out a bit. Well, not a bit, a lot. She has pointy ears, like an elf kind of thing, you know. So I'm just keeping my strokes very loose and so I could make adjustments as such. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask away. I'm trying to incorporate what I learned with the Riley method, but it doesn't seem to be working out as I'd like. So just keep it simple. think her chin might be a bit too high up, but it's okay. Taking creative liberties is also part of it, right? So okay. All right, so there's the generic shape of this person's head. Probably have to make this part a little bit wider in the back. Mind you, this is my first time for the year doing all of these exercises, so at least for the year, so that way I could have more of a leeway when it comes to getting all these things done faster, because for animation you just have to know where these things ought to go. All right, so I'm gonna be drawing. Maybe I should try making another layer and then using a different pencil. Should I change the color? I should change the color. Just like I did last time, so you could see the difference. Between the good layer and the other layer. Should probably lower the opacity too, and I find noses are the hardest part to draw noses and mouths, especially at a certain angle. But I feel like if my brush is wrong, I don't like how this brush is looking on this. Give her a ponytail. Noses are so hard, oh my gosh. Okay. Sketch number 1. Definitely need to loosen up a bit more. So let's move on to the next one. This one is a straightforward face, so I haven't done straightforward face in a long time. All the faces I've done, it's always been like a turn or some sort of angle. But for this one, it's just straight. So we'll see how that one goes. definitely move this one up a bit. Okay, there's the second drawing. It's a bit looser, definitely more of an expression. It just gave me some more ideas in terms of doing more expressive faces, you know. So I feel like if I should make her ears a bit more bigger. I feel like the theme for today is big ears. Just 'cause all right, next drawing. Okay, the next one, I guess I should do a dude because I haven't drawn a dude. Yeah, I'll do. I'll draw him up here. All my references that I'm using are on my Pinterest, which I have displayed in my other screen, but you could click on the link to see what I'm drawing. I feel like if I started this one wrong. This one, he's pointed upwards, or he's looking up. So it's all about the perspective, right? So big ears again. Okay, I think I got the hang of it. It's all about knowing your perspective and understanding those 3D shapes that take place, right? So it's like you're taking the actual square, right? But then when you rotate it upwards, you get like somewhat sort of like the square, it's like tilted upwards, kind of like so, right? Like that. That's more or less what I was trying to achieve, right? So, and all this comes with practice, right? And the more you practice, the more of an understanding, you will have, so that when it comes to difficult positions, right, like this, right, you will handle it with ease, right? And you will know exactly where where certain things should be, like where the head should be in relation to the eyes, where it should be in relation to the nose, and things like that. So all of that to consider, right? I feel like if maybe his ear, especially on the right side, has to be slightly higher, but all this, it's basically how I drew it. So I don't want to make it look wrong, but at the same time, um, you know, just going along with it, right? So there is the dude's head, and he is looking up, right? Right. So I feel like if that's wrong. My gosh, noses are so hard to draw. so difficult to draw a nose from this angle. But anyway, okay, so I got a dude, so that's done. All right, so you see the whole point of understanding those shapes, right? Knowing how to rotate them, right? So that's why you'll see those kinds of exercises where they'll have you draw boxes from different angles, right? They'll have you draw a cube from the side, from this angle, right? And you're developing that fundamental skill of knowing how a cube should look from this angle, or twisted downwards, right? I think I drew the same thing. or drawing it downwards from this angle, right? Or even a curved cube, right? And how that is supposed to look, right? All these things that in the generic art fundamental classes, you draw a lot of these like shapes in different formats, right? It's all to help you understand how things ought to look, right? And it's so that you could go from doing these generic shapes to these complex shapes, right? Because when you really think about it, the human head is a very, very difficult thing to draw, right? The human body is, relatively a difficult thing to draw, right? But if you could develop that knowledge in terms of knowing how to draw these shapes, right? Knowing how they're supposed to look if moved at a different angle, all right? Or rotated or flipped or turned backwards, forwards, any kind of way, right? This is to help you to be able to draw a face from any angle, right? So I'm just looking at the drawings that I did today versus what I did last year. Now, mind you, last year at this point I was drawing often, so this year I'm just getting back into that routine again, right? So that is why I was trying to get to the point about repetition. Now, repetition is something that is important in art, because you don't just do something once and then call that a day, right? Don't think that, oh, because I drew it well the first time, that's relatively like, it's a good start to have, to draw something once and then draw it well once, but you have to challenge yourself more, right? You have to give yourself more complex drawings regarding learning how to draw. You have to draw different things so that your mind could learn something new and adapt. You could be able to draw different angles with ease, because the more of something that you practice, the better at it you become, right? So look at like this one, what I did here versus what I did in October, and then I'm doing it all again in, what month are we in? February 11th, 2025, right? So even though it may look like if, I'm still a bit stiff, however, that underlining understanding of, the head, it's still there, right? It's just not executed to the best of my ability, because I have to do more practicing, right? So this is why you'll know somebody who says that they're artists and they don't draw as often versus somebody who is an artist and draws often, right? So that's why it's so important to maintain that skill and draw as often as you can. All right. I know a lot of artists, they say, try to draw every day. I can't draw every day. I try to, but I have to work, and yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot that I have to do in a day. So yeah. So with that being said, one last drawing. So this is gonna be my illustrative piece. Hopefully this one turns out okay. Let me show you. So again, in my Pinterest, the link is in the chat. So this is the reference that I'm using. So it's again, the head is twisted in a certain way. So I have to have that underlining understanding as to where things are gonna be based on that angle, right? This one is gonna be my illustrative piece. So this is gonna be the first time that I'm doing another illustration. I'm aiming for this. This is my latest one that I did last year. So I'm gonna see how much I could get done in about half an hour. So I'm just going to go as briefly as I can in terms of the lines and all of that it entails. I think I might be a little bit fixated on the details way too early. That's okay. Just have to consistently remind myself that you're still at the beginning stages of this illustration, so She looks scary. Trying to draw the pupil. Right? So again, this comes with having that understanding of knowing the human skull. So I don't know where things are, but I'll improvise. It's a difficult kind of difficult angle. I always aim for these kind of angles. I don't know why. Okay, I feel like if the circle, this needs to be a bit wider. And then this has to go more like this. I think I'm getting a good idea of it. Eyebrows have to be a little bit higher because she is somewhat it's like she's looking up, but then she's slightly more like, should see more of her chin like underneath here. So maybe. Okay, now let's fix this mouth. have the overall shape to that. And yeah, she looks a bit scary, but that's how she turned out. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is flip the camera and see if I could make any other adjustments to the overall look, and then see if I could add in some color, and then move on with the braids and maybe some lighting. So okay, all right, so there's that. Definitely need to loosen up some more, all right, because it's 11:15, so that means that I have about half an hour to get this drawing done. So the neck area is always the part that messes me up. So either I always draw the neck too thin, or I draw it too thick. I don't know, but people tell me all the time, oh, fix the neck. But I don't know, it's weird. Oops. And then here would be the braids and everything. Okay, so move this back. Oh boy. Feel like, you know what it is? It's too flat on the side. That's what it is. I hope. It's like she barely has a skull. think that's it. If that's not it, well, I guess I'll think of something else. And her ear needs to be closer. That's also another thing too, the ears. So now I have to find the right brush that I've always used, which I think it's like the basic thing, and then I do multiply. I think I do normal and just do all the colors underneath it. I'm not too sure, can't remember. Cleaning up here, the edges a bit, and gonna put all these in a group because that's how Krita works. In order to clip anything, I have to have it in I think I do put it on multiply or maybe even layer. Maybe it's multiply. Jeez, I don't even know. I don't know. Let me change the background to like to keep the same kind of color. Let me lock it again. Here's a good way that I could see. So I do have them all down in the bottom. Okay, so I do usually have it on multiply. Okay. You can tell it's been a while since I've done an illustration. Okay, and then let us clip that to that. Okay, and this one is going to be my the lights, the highlights, or maybe the shadow. I'll start off with the shadow. I usually do the shadows first. And this one is again, wait, hold on, let me see. Yeah, the shadow is multiply as well. want the color to be a bit different. No, just maybe a bit more saturated, I guess. I don't know. So this one is the shadow, then this one is the highlights. Let's see if I still have it. Oh, that's a bit too bright. It's supposed to be, but I feel like if I have to start those highlights over again. Should I break this up into parts? Or should I finish this off screen? Because if it's one thing with me, is that if I don't figure it out now, I will figure it out at some point, right? And then I will just show y'all the result. Oh, I forgot to forgot that section behind underneath the lips. I feel like if the shadow could be darker though, so I wouldn't have to put it on multiply. Okay. Now it's blending it all out and pray. It definitely needs reds in there, not just yellow. Let's see if I could add in some reds. right. I think I figured that out. Because that was getting on my nerves. How it wasn't looking right the first time. Then shadow. No, not the shadow. Oops. Okay, time for some other things. Eyes, eyebrows, all that stuff. So she's looking a bit unfinished. So I'm gonna start off with her eyebrows. Actually, I usually just go straight black. I don't just go black. I'm not trying to follow any set rules or guidelines, but I am. But okay. Okay, let's see if that works out better. Shadow. I think that makes it look better. Just something about the head was looking off to me, so I just had to fix it. But okay, her head is still off, but no big deal because I could easily fix it with the brush. So oops. All right, what's the time? 11:46. Okay, let's see where I could be in 15 minutes. Let's see the shadow. And it's not even yellow that the highlight is. It's more white, but I'm starting off with yellow because I guess it's a better I don't know. Figured I'd just make it easier for myself. Yeah, just to have that. So these are the eyes, and then like if that's for this one. I need her eyes to be bigger. I can't. They need to be bigger. I'm now realizing, like, wait a second here. It's okay. They will be bigger. All right. Okay. So I think I'm fairly off to I'm off to a start, right? So the thing is with getting back into doing art again is that it's gonna take time, right? So whereas I was confident in doing these pieces last year, right? Took a long break after this one, and yeah, it's just come to a point where you have to start all over. Well, not necessarily starting all over again, because it is slowly but surely coming back in terms of like my process, like my practices and what I used to do and everything like that. So I just have to be patient with myself a little bit and just go with the flow, right? So I'm going with the flow. I'm just seeing how I'm able to remember and try to move forward, because I am sharing with you all my process and everything like that. So it's just taking time, and like I said, knowing and understanding the human head, the anatomy, and all that stuff. All that comes with excessive practice. This is my shadow. Oh, okay. Yeah, all of this, it comes with practice and knowing and understanding. Oh, I probably shouldn't have blended that too much. Okay, so let me just go a little bit. Yeah, so understanding that, and I guess just making sure that you know and understand the base of the human head. So this is what I started off with. Yeah, so I started off with this. You saw, like, if you were watching the whole time, or if you're gonna rewatch this later on, you will see how I had to go back and readjust and go back and adjust again, because certain things were not looking right. But I think that I basically got everything in order. Still have lots of work to do on the face, on certain details such as the lips here needs work. Yeah, it's just a matter of time, which I don't have anymore. So as much as I would like to continue on with the live, I have to get going. So in that case, let me see if I can, in fact, see if I could fix up just a little bit here. Right, and then go a bit darker there as well, because she is supposed to she's supposed to have like some teeth showing, but not as much, kind of thing. Oh, I'm winging it at this point. Yeah, certain things, it's gonna look weird at first, until I get it right. So all right, so this is where I am leaving this drawing. I still wish that there was more that I could do with it. I still feel like if her chin needs to be brought down some more, you know, just certain things like that to fix, because I feel like if her chin is, actually, let me do that first before I close off, just for my sanity. Let me just try to bring this section down, right, and put in the color. Oops, because I have to get going. Okay. Is that better? Shoot. I don't even know. But that will have to be for another time. I will finish this piece, don't you worry. I will finish it. I'll probably have to fix it up a bit. Probably have to fix it up more, just so that I could be a little bit satisfied with it. But for now, this is what I did. I keep refixing, having to fix things, but anyway. Okay. All right. Now I am finished. Thank you, everybody who took the time to watch. Repetition, 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 repetition. So now we are repeating everything that we've learned last year, and off to a slow start, right? But it's still better than how it turned out, than how I expected it. And yeah, I think I touched on several things today, and yep. So thank you all, everybody who will be watching in the future. If you have any questions, just let me know via Instagram or just in the chat, and or in the comment section. So I will see you in the next live stream. I don't know when that will be, but it will be soon. So with that said, take care, everybody. Bye bye.